Welcome to the course European Ritual Cuisine, Digital Presentation and Preservation. Module 1 explores ritual recipes and their documenting via usage of new digital technologies. And this lesson will contain information on historical and cultural value criteria for recipe preservation and interaction with nature and local and regional history and memory in food recipes. Memories shape narratives of our lives. Food plays an important role in the lives of families in most cultures. However, the degree of importance varies from culture to culture. What is considered edible or even a delicacy in some parts of the world might be considered inedible in other parts. Food traditions vary widely throughout the world. Even among people who share similar cultural backgrounds and some of the same food habits, eating patterns are not identical. Further, families vary from their own daily routines on holidays, when traveling, or when guests are present. Men eat differently from women. People of different age groups also may eat differently. However, in most parts of the world, food is associated with hospitality and expression of friendship. Therefore, sensitivity to food rules and customs is important in building and strengthening cross-cultural relationships, and therefore it's important to take these aspects in consideration when selecting recipes for digitalization and preservation for next generations. Transforming natural resources into foodstuffs according to norms is a cultural and collective process, which constitutes a cultural commons in all the human societies. Such cultural commons has at least three components. It concerns the selection of natural resources used in the food process. The distinction between eatable and uneatable varies from country to country and from one culinary culture to other. That means that such commons define the framework within which tastes and preferences can be displayed, but also contribute to build an identity. It includes the ways of transforming resources by developing new resources on the basis of nature and culture, farming, selection of plants, breeding, and so on. It also concerns the uses of resources, ways of preparing, preserving, cooking food, but also manners of eating and drinking. In early civilizations, wealth was nearly always synonymous with political or religious power, so the primary employers of professional chefs were kings, aristocrats, or priests. That divide between professional chefs cooking for the wealthy and peasants cooking for themselves drove the development of many cuisines. Each side influenced the other. Professional chefs sought to do things differently than the masses, to create a distinct culinary experience to their elite clients. Commoners, in turn, sought to adopt some of the finer things in life by copying the dishes served at royal tables. Countries with a long history of a large and stable aristocracy or ruling class developed the most complex, highly refined, and elaborate cuisines. In next slides, we will reveal some examples of European countries. France is perhaps the best example. Despite its vibrant regional peasant cuisine, France was for centuries dominated by aristocratic food. Early on, French nobles and other members of the ruling class used dinners as status symbols. France is especially interesting because it achieved renown for its cooking very early. La Varenne's book Le Cuisinier François from 1651 was translated into English in 1653. Interestingly, in the preceding centuries, aristocrats would not be caught dead eating truffles, which are decadent and expensive today. Since they came from the ground, they had been considered to be peasant food. England also had an elaborate monarchy, but its geography made the development of a sophisticated cuisine difficult. Plant and animal diversity is a direct result of a climate. A cold climate leads to relatively low diversity, providing less varied ingredients for a chef to work with. Spain. Its Mediterranean climate and long-standing monarchy and aristocracy accumulated enormous wealth by exploiting the New World. Yet traditional Spanish cuisine owes more to farm and peasant life than to that of the great Spanish court. That is less true in Andalusia, where cuisine from the Islamic courts made a lasting contribution. Migas or fried breadcrumbs are a hallmark of Spanish cuisine and the standard winter meal. So much so that several cities have their own gastronomic roots, celebrating this traditional peasant food. There are many wonderful traditional German foods, but most come from the peasant table, such as the numerous varieties of hearty sausages and hams. One reason may be that Germany was not unified as a country until late of 19th century. Before that time the region was carved into pieces, ruled by various European empires or complex confederations of countries, such as Prussia, Bohemia, Swabia, and Bavaria. Germany also suffered from its northern location, which limited the diversity of indigenous fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Italy provides an even better example of how political fragmentation can affect cuisine. Blessed by a favorable climate, the region produces a full range of grains, fruits, and vegetables, which is ideal for culinary diversity. Until Italy was unified as a country in 1870, the area was a patchwork of duchies, principalities, city-states, republics, and territories controlled by foreign monarchs. There was no permanent or centralized Italian monarchy, and thus no royal court for which chefs could create new dishes. Italy did have one permanent fixture, the papacy, and some distinctive foods were developed for its religious feasts and celebrations. Some culinary traditions may not be around today, if not for Italian monks and nuns, who are credited with saving Western culture in tumultuous centuries known as the Dark Ages. This was information about identification of ritual recipes, national and cultural significance, which is elaborated by International Project Eurica Working Group. Please see our next lessons in order to explore digital presentation and preservation of European ritual cuisine.